40 million sounds like a huge number, especially when talking about people. In the United States today, almost 40 million people are on the food stamp program run by the government. 40 million people. That statistic means that 1 in every 8 people are on food stamps, according to an article on Reuters.com. Not only does our nation have food stamps, but also SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and Women, Infants, and Children, or also known as WIC, for women who are pregnant and have children. Everyone believes in giving aid to the needy and to help those who need it most, but what some people don't see is how our money is being spent. In this speech, I will tell you about welfare abuse in the United States and also help to give a solution to this growing problem. The welfare system was put in place and created to be a temporary program to help families in need during the 1935s by the Social Security Act for those in need. Today, the program is still supposed to be a temporary program. While most people do use the program for a temporary time and use it correctly and fairly, many others do not. As you can see on my poster, this graph shows a map of the United States. The bluer the area, the darker blue, means that there's more food stamps in that area. As you can see, most of the food stamps in America are in the Midwest or southern areas. The lighter the blue means less food stamps are being used, or welfare. On this graph, it says that 3 in 4 mothers on food stamps are also receiving other welfare benefits. 16% are using food stamps, AFDC, which stands for Aid to Families with Dependent Children, and WIC. 25% are using food stamps only, while 10% are using food stamps and WIC. 49% of the mothers on food stamps also have AFDC, Aid for Families with Dependent Children. Working in a grocery, I see the welfare system in place daily and firsthand. While many people do use their food stamp cards wisely and buy healthy food for their families, so many others buy junk food and TV dinners, then pull out cash for cigarettes. By no means does this make the welfare system bad. However, many precautions could be taken to help ensure correct usage. Food stamps and welfare is not just being abused by people not using it wisely, but by people who live their entire lives off of the system. Many of these families do not attempt to better themselves or their families. Many grocery stores now have cards that you can use to get discounts on many items in the store. These cards can save the people using them hundreds of dollars a year. Multiple times I have heard a person on food stamps say, "I don't need that card, the government is paying for it anyway." The government and all taxpayers are what helps to pay for these food stamps and for other welfare programs, which cost approximately $59 billion. No one wants to see the welfare program go away, but we don't want to see it abused. Also, it abuses those whose tax dollars pay for it and for the others. People have come up with many different ideas and solutions, but in this speech you will hear one major idea to solve this growing problem: restrictions. Restrictions on food stamp, SNAP, and WIC. There are many restrictions for food stamps already, but there are also so many loopholes and so many things that are overlooked and not covered. Food stamps is partially based on income, how many children you have, and other factors. All the money you receive in food stamps is put onto a card similar to a debit card and refilled every month. For Indiana, this is an example of what the Hoosier Works food stamp card looks like. You swipe it at the store, and if you do not use all of the money for your month, it's rolled over to the next month. You can also get cash back from your food stamp card in certain cases, which also seems to be a major cause leading to abuse. In an article from the Los Angeles Times, thousands of dollars were taken out of ATMs at strip clubs from people's welfare funds. Not only have strip clubs had ATMs to access welfare cash, but also at some casinos. So how can we stop this abuse and make our welfare program more reliable and fair? As stated before, restrictions. One of the most popular restrictions that people think should be in place is no smoking. In an article on VerdeNews.com, Frank Antaroni says what many people believe but haven't said: no drinking or smoking. He says, if you do not have enough money to buy your own food, to exist on your own, and you need some other hardworking taxpayer that's out there and working and paying taxes to subsidize your food, you shouldn't have the luxury at the expense of some other taxpayer to go out and enjoy the nice things in life, like cigarettes or alcohol. Cigarettes and alcohol are not necessary and are seen as a privilege for people to have. The major restriction should be that you cannot smoke or have anyone you are supporting be a smoker. Cigarettes are $5 a pack, and in certain places even more than that. That can mean hundreds of dollars a month that you could be using to buy food for. Another restriction are checks. There aren't very many checks in the welfare system to make sure that the system is being used correctly and fairly. If you aren't using it fairly, you should not be able to have food stamps. Food stamps are for food, not alcohol or not cigarettes, or other material items that are not necessary. Other factors to check include the family's actual income. Many times the income is not checked and is just let go through the system. Welfare should be for people who truly need it and not for those who are selfish. It not only takes away money from the taxpayers, but also takes away from the people who are truly struggling to make ends meet and are honest about the way they use their food stamps. Welfare will always be a touchy subject because so many people have differing viewpoints. By no means should welfare be done away with or taken away from people, but it should be used for only those who need it and use it correctly. Helping people is the most important thing to do, and it's the right thing to do. With these restrictions, we can help make the welfare system fair and help the people who need it most. We can also weed out those who use it unfairly and selfishly. These restrictions can make a huge change to America and make our nation an even better place to live.